Hello everyone. Welcome to 100M Podcast. The news today we will talk about: Iran defies Trump, no surrender, grave consequences. One source. The provided text, a transcript from a YouTube video by the Indian Express, discusses the escalating tensions between Iran and the United States/Israel. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, defiantly rejects surrender demands from President Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, asserting that Iran will not yield to threats. The conflict has intensified with mutual attacks resulting in significant casualties in both Iran and Israel, including civilian deaths. The supreme leader warns of irreparable damage if the U.S. intervenes militarily, emphasizing that Iran will not accept an imposed peace or war. Furthermore, Iran's ambassador to the UN directly implicates the U.S. in Israel's actions, while Turkey's president supports Iran's right to self-defense. The overall situation paints a picture of a region on the brink of a wider war, with Iran resolute in its stance against surrender.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to unpack the critical info from your sources, really helping you get straight to the heart of complex global issues. Today, we're focusing on those escalating tensions in the Middle East. Specifically, the very precarious standoff between Iran, the U.S., and Israel.
That's right. Our mission here is to sort of navigate the recent statements, the actions, everything that's pushed the region, frankly, to the brink. We want to give you the essential insights so you understand not just, what's happening, but what's truly at stake.
Okay, so the immediate flashpoint, as the sources highlight, seems to circle back to one figure's stance: Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. I mean, despite these very public ultimatums from both Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, Khamenei just refused to back down.
Yeah, flat out refused. He specifically rejected those calls for unconditional surrender. Stated it quite unequivocally on state TV, didn't he? The Iranian nation will not surrender.
That's a powerful statement to kick things off, yeah.
It really is. And what's interesting is that this isn't just maybe rhetoric. It feels like a calculated part of their strategy, not just desperation. He didn't stop at refusing surrender. He added that stark warning, didn't he? Any U.S. military intervention would bring irreparable damage. And he also stressed Iran wouldn't accept an imposed peace or war. He pointed out that intelligent people who know Iran will never speak to this nation in threatening language. That kind of talk, it really forces everyone else to think about their own red lines,
And these words, they aren't happening in a vacuum. They're echoing across a very active conflict zone right now. We're, 5 days into this latest escalation. And the costs, human and strategic, are becoming painfully clear. We're talking hundreds of casualties.
Yeah, on both sides.
In Iran, officials confirmed over 220 people dead from Israeli strikes. That includes at least 70 women and children. And Iranian media also reported some kind of high-level assassination. Details are still maybe a bit murky on that one.
Right. And on the Israeli side,
over 20 people reported dead from Iranian missile attacks. And Israel, for its part, it claims its warplanes hit 2 more nuclear facilities inside Iran. Key sites potentially linked to weapons development.
Okay, so targeting strategic assets there.
Exactly. And they also said 50 jets hit about 20 sites linked to Iran's missile program.
Yeah.
So going after retaliatory capability. Plus, there was that report of a Mossad office hit in Tel Aviv, that's Israel's intelligence agency, a significant symbolic, maybe operational blow.
Right, and this is where the direct U.S. involvement becomes so critical, isn't it? We've seen the deployment of 2 U.S. fighter jets into Iranian airspace. That's a huge signal, a major escalation, especially given Khamenei's warning about threats.
Definitely. And President Trump has repeatedly publicly called for Iran to surrender unconditionally.
So what we're seeing, it's not just random violence. It feels much more like a calculated chess game. Every move, a strike on a nuclear site deploying jets, it carries these complex implications for the power dynamics in the region.
And that direct U.S. involvement, it certainly hasn't gone unnoticed by Iran. Ali Bini, Iran's UN ambassador in Geneva, was very blunt. He stated Washington is already complicit in what Israel is doing.
Strong words.
Very. Bini asserted Israel without United States is nothing, and he issued a direct warning to the U.S. government. Any intervention would get a firm response.
It really underscores the interconnectedness, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And that viewpoint, it has resonance beyond just Iran. We saw Turkish President Erdogan publicly defending Iran's position. He said Iran has the legitimate right to defend itself against Israel's bombing campaign.
Interesting. So support from Turkey there.
Yeah, and Erdogan's saying that it's not just about showing solidarity. It kind of highlights this potentially growing alignment of regional powers who maybe see U.S. and Israeli actions as an overreach, which could, shift the balance of power across the wider Middle East. So, okay, let's just step back for a second. If we put it all together, You've got Israeli jets bombing key Iranian infrastructure. You've got U.S. military assets actually entering Iranian airspace. And meanwhile, Iran is vowing irreparable damage and absolutely refusing to back down. It feels incredibly volatile.
Extremely volatile. And with Khamenei making it crystal clear that surrender is, quote, off the table. Well, this whole situation, it really raises a crucial question for you, the listener, to think about regarding what happens next.
Yeah, the big question really is, will the next strike be the one that triggers an all-out confrontation?